Hi guys, just after getting home from the Dundalk and Sligo game there, a very good game, very happy with that result. It's good to get the 3 points on the board again. It's been a long time coming since we've managed that. Final score was 4-1. I think Dundalk were good for it overall. I think now 50-50% possession, but Dundalk did a lot more with their possession. Sean Murray opening the score early enough, and then but straight away Sligo responded. Dundalk, I thought, then could have dropped the heads and Sligo could have went on and won the game, but thankfully it didn't happen. Another goal from Sean Murray, followed up again by a brace by Pat Hoban to steal all the points. Bit of controversy over the third goal, whether it was an open goal or Pat Hoban's goal, but Pat Hoban's will claim that every day of the week. I thought Greg Sloggett had a fantastic game. He covered every single blade of grass there twice, same as Sean Murray. He had a brilliant game. Pat Hoban was fantastic as well, even taking away the two goals. The two boys had a great game. Peter Cherry bringing an awful lot of stability back into Dundalk. In the goals there, we really needed that, coming out and claiming balls, organising his defence very well. He had a great game. Can't really fault him either as well by the for the goal, but yeah. So I was thinking about it. It's like the Dock hadn't really scored many goals recently. One goal here and there. I think the only time we scored more than two goals was against Waterford very early on in the season. Now we've done 10 goals in 3 games. I know 2 games were in the cup, but come on, I think Dundalk are starting to find their form, which it's a wee bit late to do anything in the league, but we still have the cup. We still have the cup, lads. And yeah, so moving on now till Monday, we get Bohs in Oriel Park. Hopefully, we can get that big crowd in again, get the 12th man going, and get another 3 points on the board. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, this is my fan reaction to last night's game. Sligo Rovers beat Dundalk. Bitterly disappointing result, bitterly disappointing performance. I think from the first whistle, Dundalk absolutely dominated the game and thoroughly deserved the 3 points. It's disappointing because I feel like with performances over the last 2 or 3 months, where it's like we're destined to throw away top three. I think that was the main target going into the season, is securing European football again. And right now it just looks like they're destined to give it away, and it's totally frustrating because we did not look up for it at all last night. I think our two fullbacks, Horgan and Donlan, were found out. Midfield, I know we're missing quite a lot of players with likes of Bulger, Buckley, McCord, Cawley. Still just wasn't good enough. Flat performance, it was pathetic to be honest. Dundalk, they took their goals well, they played well, deserved the 3 points. It's tough to take any positives out of the game, to be honest. Kenny on the score sheet again. That's about it, to be honest. He took his goal quite well. It was a great ball from Moorhead in midfield. But other than that, like, we offered nothing up top. Dundalk ran us riot, and it's just disappointing because with season coming to a close, I know we're still top three at the moment, but Derry now are picking up results. I know Harps did us a favour last night against Bohs, but Derry are picking up points now, and it's time seriously to get some wins on the board because it's just been disappointing. It's just been very disappointing considering the start we had to the league. It just fell flat midway through. We didn't win a game like 13, 14 games. We finally win 2 games, and we lose against Shams last week, and then we lose last night as well. It's just disappointing. I know we're in a better place than where we were, let's say 5 years ago, even less, 3 or 4 years ago. But it's just like we're destined to throw away top three, and it's just frustrating to watch. But hopefully we can turn it around now, get the likes of Bulger back in midfield, because I think we need a player like him because he just drives the game. He controls the game. Buckley in the back as well. I think he's a Rolls Royce. I honestly think he's very good. McCourt as well. We need McCourt because I think Donald last night was absolutely found out. I think the first 2 goals came down his side, if I remember correctly. Just not good enough. Hopefully we can pick up points next week. But I think it's going to be very tight now for top three.
Okay, full time, and it's Blues 1, Drogheda 0. First things first, I suppose. 3 points are massive at this stage of the season. Everything else is secondary, so it's important that we got the win, and everything else I'm going to say after this comes with that caveat that this was like a huge win. But I have to say, the second half of towards the end of both halves, we were very, very poor. Um, Particularly in the second half, for the last 20 minutes, it seemed like we were just completely out of steam, especially in midfield. And I thought it was strange that the sub wasn't brought on to try and you know, give a bit of energy to the midfield, especially when we needed it. Because I think had Drogheda had 11 men on the field, they definitely would have scored. Whether or not they would have won, uh, you know, I wouldn't have been confident of us holding on. Um, Phoenix Patterson, I think it's fair to say, is the man of the match. Himself and Junior on the wings give our attack a whole new dimension. Um, Suppose the only downside, aside from the end of both halves for the performance, is the fact that Harps and Dundalk won as well. Um, I would have thought that this would have been a game that had we won, we would have made up ground on Harps and put a bit of distance between ourselves and Dundalk. But look, I suppose you can't be in control of that. Um, it, it would have been even worse had we lost and they'd have won, or had we drawn and they'd have won. So not too bad. And as well as that, the cup draw. I didn't want us to get Dundalk or Pats. I think Bohs were probably the best draw for us. Would have preferred it at home, but semi-final is the semi-final. There are no easy games, so I'll be looking forward to that. That's a nice distraction from the league. But I think if you gave me a choice between staying up and winning the cup, I think I'd have to take staying up. Still, hopefully we can do both.
Alright lads, just a quick reaction to the game in Derry Park last night between Bohemians and Finn Harps. Finished Bohemians 1, Finn Harps 2. Really disappointing result, and the atmosphere was absolutely shocking as well. On top of that, we started really well. In the first half. We dominated, created lots of chances, just couldn't stick the ball in the back of the net. Georgie had a couple of chances. Wardy had a big chance. But again, we were playing good football, so we thought it would come the goal eventually. But into half time 0-0. And then in the second half, they started to dominate the game a little bit, and eventually they got the goal, which they probably did deserve. At that point, we made a couple of changes, and soon after they made it 2. From then we had another couple of chances, but just couldn't take it. And then eventually we did get a consolation through an laying board in the 92nd minute. Couldn't push for it after that. The atmosphere, I thought, was absolutely shocking. This whole Block A and Block G thing. It's just this whole Block A and Block G thing. I don't know, the shite. I just think everyone needs to come back down to Block G, or else move down to Block A. The atmosphere is clearly not good. I seen a post last night. The players, obviously, it's affecting the players clearly, because like a few of them were saying it. I seen a post about it. It's not helping at all, to be honest. I was in Block G for the second half and Block A for the first half. Neither of them are even a shadow of what Block G normally is. So I just think, if you're in Block A, come back down to Block G, and we get the atmosphere going again. I think the draw's good. We see the draw after the game. I'm looking forward to that game. So I think, come back down to Block G, and we get the crack going with that game. Cheers.
Final score from Derry Park this evening: Finn Harps 2, Bohemians 1. A brilliant result for Finn Harps this evening. Unbelievable performance from the whole team from starting Doherty right through till Tunde up front. For the second half, Harps were the better side. Ollie Morgan got his tactics worked brilliantly this evening. 2 good goals second half scored by Ethan Boyle and Dan Hawkins with his first touch. Massive 3 points this season with other teams around us, with the Dock winning, Waterford winning. We've kind of closed the gap now on teams above us, and a massive game now in Finn Park now next Friday night against the Dock. A lot of Dublin press didn't really give us much hope this evening to get the 3 points in the home of football, but we proved them wrong. For our defence this evening was well marshalled by Dave Webster. Our midfield, Ryan Conley, Johnny Levy was fantastic. Barry McNeely, great game, so ran really, and up front, Boyd and Tunde gave them problems. I thought Tunde should have scored from the second half, but I thought overall Harps got the 3 points, which is the most important thing. As I say, massive few weeks coming up now. We've got 2 home games now against Dundalk, and they're huddled to live teams, and it's going to be an interesting end of the season, but fantastic results, and all I can say is up the Harps.
Alright folks, just a wee roundup of tonight's action from Ryan McBride Brandywell Stadium as Derry City ran out 3-0 winners against Longford Town. First half goals from Jamie McGonigal and James Akintunde gave Derry a 2-0 lead at half time. McGonigal's goal came from when he charged down a defender and raced clear to put the ball beyond the goalkeeper. McGonigal was involved in the second as his cross found Will Fitzgerald, who teed up Akintunde to make it 2-0. Second half, Longford started brightly, forced a few corners, but Derry dealt with them comfortably. As the half grew on, Longford started to grow into the game, and Derry made a couple of substitutions. One of those substitutions was Evan McLaughlin, and his lovely little ball over the top for Danny Lafferty to run onto. Danny's strike hit was a great right foot of volley, which was brilliantly tipped away by Lee Stacey. Unfortunately for him, it fell to Junior, who struck a ball on the ground that looped up over the goalkeeper and into net for 3-0. Longford kept going to the very end as they tried to get a goal that their play probably deserved on the night. Unfortunately for them, the Derry rearguard wasn't prepared. They let them have one. When you look at the league table and see it, Longford have only 14 points all season. It really is hard to believe, considering how they played tonight, because they really did play some nice football. They kept the ball well and they moved it well, and they really did play well tonight. 3-0 is probably a wee bit flattering for Derry, but look, I'm sure we're not going to turn our noses up at a 3-0 win, and it's a crucial 3 points in the battle for Europe as results have gone for them, with Bohs and Sligo both losing. Up next is a trip to Tala to take on Shamrock Rovers, who incidentally were the last team to beat Derry in the league. Derry are now on 7 unbeaten in the league going into that game, which will be a very, very interesting game. As Derry try to maintain their push for Europe between now and the end of the season. But look, whatever happens, and look forward to that one next week. Thanks, folks.
Hi guys. Heartbreak for the Saints against Rovers. Heartbreak is probably an understatement to think about how Pat's fan felt, because I don't think we deserved it. I don't think Rovers deserved anything from the game. I thought they were kind of happy to settle for a draw, but it looks, especially when they took Mandro off, it looked that way. I think for I think Coughlin was excellent, Burns and Sam Bone was very good getting up and down, Barrett's and Banquet, and even Bermo had a great game. You were up against tough opposition. They are where they are for a reason. But I think given the chances, I know Yardos made a few decent saves towards the end, but I think we in the first half had the better of the ball. Kind of kept Rovers in their own half and forced managed to make a very good save from Sam Bones drive, and Forrester probably should have scored the header, and that's a different game. You have to feel for Melvin Lambert with the free kick. Like, it just kind of, you can't do anything. Like, if he leaves that, it's probably going to fall to Green or whoever was behind him and they're going to score, so he's stuck in 2 minds. So, but I don't think Pat's fans were pissed off at the fact that we lost. We were more kind of proud because the team was brilliant again. I have to give a special mention to Alfie Lewis. I think it was absolutely exceptional all game. I think up against a decent midfield too, with the likes of Watts, etc. in it, Mandrew and all. But as being a Pats fan the last couple of weeks, we're just kind of enjoying the ride more than anything else. Nobody says we'd be here. If you'd have given me second in the league and a cup semi-final, I'd have bit your hand off for us. So we'll take it. We'll go on to our next game and hopefully get 3 points. Cheers, guys. All the best.
Alright everyone, Keith asked me to do the post-match reaction / fan reaction for the game last night, the Southside derby between Pats and Rovers in Richmond Park. We won 1-0 on the night through a Melvin Lambert OG in the 92nd minute. I thought that the game was cagey to start off with for the first 15-20 minutes. I thought it was a bit cagey. There was a few heavy tackles put in, a penalty shout that I don't believe was a penalty, but it could go either way. Like, it really could have went either way because there was contact at first that was outside the box coming into the box, but that wouldn't have been given, I don't think. But they was thinking that Lee Grace was bundled Darren Burns over, which, upon looking at the replay, Lee had his hands up to say that he wasn't pushing forward, so he wasn't trying to give away the penalty. So penalty wasn't given. Then we went up the other end, a golden chance for Rovers. Barry Cotter got the ball off a ball, I think chipped over the top by either Mandrew or Watts, I could be mistaken. That was chipped over the top onto Cotter's foot. Cotter takes one touch beautifully inside, takes another touch and fizzes it across goal, gets cleared out, and an open goal in front of him. Although at a hard angle, Danny Mandrew misses and put it over the bar. I thought that after about 20-25 minutes in, the game really opened up. I thought it was end to end for the rest of the game. Then I think once Rovers got a chance, Pats countered. Once Pats got a chance, Rovers countered. There was a lot of link up play that was really well played by both Pats and Rovers last night. I thought Alfie Lewis, I know it was pointed out in commentary, Alfie Lewis was a lot like Stephen McPhail in the way he plays, that he has a wonderful left foot, he can pick a pass from anywhere. And I also think that Jamie Lennon, Pat's other CDM, is very, very criminally underrated. I really mean that. The goal on the night was in the 92nd minute. It was a ball cleared out by Lee Grace, if I'm right, over the top. Richie Tell was in on the counter passing Sam Bowen. Sam took him down. Now people are saying it was a soft free, other people were saying the free is justified. I saw at real time and I thought it was a free myself, but once when the replay was playing, I was out getting a drink and I came back in after getting a drink and the replay had already went, so I didn't get to see whether it was very harsh or whether it was like justified. So I'll watch that back and create my own opinion on it. But ball was whipped in then by Watts, a flick on by Gary O'Neill onto Melvin Lambert's foot, and the poor 19-year-old lad flicked it into his own net. I really thought, I was delighted obviously that we went 1-0 last 2 minutes of the game. I know it's happened 3 times against Pats this year that we've scored late to win a game. In 2 of them, and to get it drawn, do that at the 89th minute at the start of the season with Graham, the 92nd or 93rd minute with Mandrew under 2-1 out in Richmond, and then last night again 92nd minute when the OG went in. I really thought that Rovers played reasonably well last night, as did Pats. I thought it was a very, very good game of football. Big cage to start off with, but that's what every game, like in when Dublin clubs play each other, it is a bit cagey to start off with, and then the game opens up. But if I'm going to mention one player I want to mention is Barry Cotter. I really think that the lad has been amazing since he came in. I had qualms myself over him, I know a few hoops did as well before he came into the side against Finn Harps. I know a few of us were like, well, if he's not good enough for Ipswich, and he hasn't really played much since he was let go by Ipswich, so like, will he be good enough? And I had them own personal questions myself, and I'd like to publicly apologise to Barry Cotter because I've been proven wrong. The lad's been immense. The lad's been really, really good since he came in. Even in his first game against Finn Harps, I remember texting a mate of mine saying, this lad's really good, and taking back what I said, because at the start I was a bit, not like putting the young fella down, but more the fact that there's been lads who have come home from England to Rovers to other League of Ireland clubs, and it's more like a confidence issue than that, and that it doesn't benefit them coming back to the league. But Barry's hit the ground running, like he's been immense in every game he's played in. Even last night he was amazing, and that's why I think he got RT's player of the match.